first.
You son of a bitch.
Well, we're gonna talk news first. So this is football talking news. Then I got Austin, Warren, Cody, myself. We're gonna talk maybe latest free agent additions, and then we are doing 2 mock drafts this today. Austin's doing his, Cody's doing his, and then Warren and me are gonna critique like we know anything about anything, but we'll pretend. And then we're gonna talk about the top 5 defensive linemen for each defensive lineman position. Tackle. All right, and so I'll just go team by team. The Bills didn't really do anything. They added Matt Breida and they re-signed Isaiah McKenzie. That's it. The Dolphins didn't do anything since we last.
Are you not going to talk about how you
the Dolphins have done a lot since we last talked.
No, since you last talked, but not since we last talked.
Were you guys filming last night?
Twice.
What they do last night? They did something.
They traded twice on Friday.
Oh, we'll talk about that with the draft. Sorry. I'm talking about free agency signing. I'm talking about free agent signings.
Well, you didn't specify. You said they haven't done anything. They did.
All right, Warren, don't get too feisty.
They did a lot, yes. But
where's your IPA, man?
Not not in free agency signings. That is. The Patriots didn't really sign anybody, which is surprising because they've been after everybody.
They just re-signed Kyle Van Noy. They got literally a free pick and going to the Dolphins, and then
we already talked about that. We talked about that last time. I'm talking about since we last talked. The Jets added Vinny Curry, another defensive end. Trying to build a defense like I thought they would this offseason. That's what I thought the plan would be. They still need defensive.
You when I forgot to mute it first.
And then the Ravens added Sammy Watkins. That's it. What do you guys think about that fit? Sammy to the Ravens.
I'm surprised. I thought he liked to catch the ball.
I'm surprised because he doesn't really help. He's not a true number 1, and they have two twos now that are supposed. One of them's gonna have to be a 1. You know, like they have a.
Okay, so
they have Marquise Brown and they have Sammy Watkins.
Answer me this: is Sammy Watkins an upgrade over Willie Snead?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the move that was made here. That Willie Snead's in Las Vegas now.
It's a loss for the Ravens. They tried for every big name receiver. Kenny Golladay. They tried Will Fuller. They tried.
And I think that's where we're at. Is that it's not so much that he wanted to like, oh my God, he's going to go there and be the number 1, but Baltimore has tried to sign guys and nobody wants to go there because Lamar Jackson has no accuracy.
That's true.
So I might get booted.
But
I'm gonna get Lamar Jackson on this stream.
Then we'll talk so much trash about him. You can't throw for shit. I don't care if you were MVP.
Wait, how did Warren just move over there? Wait, what?
He froze and then he was at the end now. Anyways, now let's talk about the Bengals. They re-signed Quentin Spain, which is I didn't know. I forgot he was a free agent, but he is. They re-signed him to shore up the interior line, which is a good move. They signed Eli Apple, Ricardo Allen, safety. So their secondary is getting a makeover. The Browns, they didn't really do too much since we last talked. They didn't do anything now that I look at it. The Steelers didn't do anything. Oh, Tyson Alalu was going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he Frank Gordon, and he went back to the Steelers. That's really all they did. The Texans. We talked since they got Philip Lindsay, I think, right? Did we talk since then?
Yeah.
All right. That's really the last thing they did that of any value. The Colts re-signed T.Y. Hilton. He had other offers, including the Ravens as well. Spurned them, went back to Indy. He had multiple year offer from the Ravens, from what I hear. The Jaguars, they haven't done really anything since we talked, though. Tennessee either, I don't think. I'm just looking at everybody they signed. No, nothing new. The Broncos didn't do anything. We talked since Kyle Fuller. They re-signed Kareem Jackson. I don't know if we mentioned that, but their secondary is actually pretty good now. So I don't think they'll be going that way in the draft. The Chiefs re-signed DeMarcus Robinson, and
barely get him.
They They signed somebody today. What did I tell you guys? Jerron Reed, the old Alabama tackle. He got cut earlier this week. And then he went to the Chiefs. That defensive line is getting better too.
Jerron Reed, since like 2018, has been more of a flashy player than a consistent player.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The Raiders signed Willie Snead. That's really all they've done since we last talked. The Chargers, not really much either. The Cowboys, they got DeMonte KZ. Since we last talked, they're talking about Malik Hooker. What's going on with that? Any news on that, Cody? Any rumors about him coming?
No, nothing new really. Just different talks. Right now, it's more KJ Wright.
Now KZ's going to play safety there, right?
KZ is.
Yeah.
Keanu Neal's mostly going to play weak side linebacker.
How many linebackers do you need? I'm serious. Like you've got Van Der Esch, you've got Jalen Smith, you've got now Neal going to play linebacker, and if KJ Wright comes, I mean, who's going to sit the bench?
Well, Smith.
Really, he just got his big deal though.
He did, but I don't care how much you're getting paid. If you don't help me win, get the fuck off the field.
I mean, you're not wrong. So, I mean, that's it.
Like,
any other Cowboys rumors besides KJ Wright?
Jerron Reed was one up until he just signed with Kansas City, obviously. They were exploring the Jerron Reed possibility. I think you want to pay.
Who cut him? Somebody just cut him.
Seattle. What?
Seattle. Yeah, that's right. They wanted him to take a pay cut, and he didn't.
Yeah. That was. I kind of wanted to look at him, but not really, because, like I said earlier, he's been flashy lately, not consistent. He'll have big game here and there, and then he'll disappear for 2 or 3 games.
Fair enough. Now, the Giants. Last time we talked, they just signed Kenny Galladay. It was his day they signed him. They signed Adoree Jackson now. Now, and the Eagles signed Joe Flacco.
Jalen Hurts better watch his back.
The Washington hasn't done anything new, really. They signed Darryl Roberts, but he's not that good. So, given the moves that the Giants make, Warren, do you think that they're legitimate contenders for the East, or are they not there yet?
Hard to say. I think that they're definitely contenders to finish second or better. It's going to be, how does Dallas play? If Dallas goes back to a 9-10 win team with Dak there, then I don't think the Giants are quite there yet. But I think the Giants are kind of where Buffalo and Miami were a year or two ago, where they're rebuilding, they're getting there, but it's.
What more do the Giants need to do in order for you to put them at number 1 at this time? What do you think, Austin?
They need to figure out if Daniel Jones is their quarterback.
Barkley needs to play a full season.
Fair enough. So aside from Daniel Jones, what about offensive line? I don't think that's ready. I think they need some offensive lineup. What do you think, Cody, about the Giants?
I think they're the Giants.
Their defense was top 10 last year. I mean, they've gotten better.
The Giants have looked good on paper 100 million times and still sucked every year. But I mean, Eli was the quarterback then.
But what do you think that the Giants need to focus on the rest of free agency and draft in order to better compete?
Offensive line, some depth on the defensive line.
Linebackers, maybe? I think they're a little weak at linebacker.
Another wide receiver.
Okay.
I like the Galladay signing. I just don't like.
We're not going to ask you yet because you're doing your mock today. We'll see who you have mocked to them in the first. But what about Washington? Now, Washington won the division last year. Obviously, the Cowboys are getting back Dak, which is a huge boost. They're trying to shore up their defense a little bit. What about Washington? Are they still the best team in the division, or do you think that
I don't think
Dallas with Dak is better?
I think Dallas with Dak and their offensive line is better.
I mean, the offensive line will be back too. That's for sure.
The defense of Dallas is concerning, but I mean, I think they got the weapons that they can score with anybody. It's just they need to get that defense a little bit better.
How's Dallas going to get after the quarterback? What are they going to do in that sense?
They need a guy that can push the packet in the middle of the defense. They got a lot of pressure from their edge rushers last year. It's just they got no push up the middle, and quarterbacks could just step up out of the rush. They didn't really have to work too hard to get away from sacks.
Generally speaking, in the NFC East, one team wins it, and normally it's not the same team year after year.
No, it's been like
the same
two
team
teams have won back to back in like 27 years or something.
So we're gonna go across the board. Everybody, give me their NFC East winner. Warren, we'll start with you.
Well, if it's not, I'm gonna go. It's hard to say. I'm gonna go on the limb. I'm gonna say the Giants.
Cody, what do you think?
All
right, Austin, what do you think?
Washington.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Ask me again after the draft. I might change my mind.
I've got a Cowboys fan in the house, so if she sees this video, she beat me up if I don't say the Cowboys.
It's okay. You don't want to sleep on the couch. We understand this.
So,
hey,
Cody and I understand this.
If my team sucks, I'm gonna call them out for sucking. I'm sure Warren. No, Warren won't do that.
I rooted for them through the 2-14 season. If they suck, I'll call it out.
So,
you're like, they'll
Bears,
be okay. They just need to do this.
So going to the North, the Bears re-signed Artie Burns. That's pretty much it. The Lions, nothing since we last talked that I see.
The Lions.
Oh, they got Alex Anzalone. It's funny. I just think it's funny that him and Gerard Davis played at Florida together. Now he's replacing Gerard Davis for the Lions. But
I just think it's funny he took that low of a deal.
Yeah, 1.75. That's nothing. But as we said, a lot of teams are going to have to take deals that, they wouldn't normally take. It's funny because all of you guys called Kevin King trash. He's coming back to Green Bay.
You should see how the Packers fans feel about it.
Hey, he sticks with the Waste Management colors. What can I say?
The Vikings, not much there either. Not since we last talked.
I'm just waiting for the big move that I get to talk about.
What's that?
Keep it in your pants, Warren.
The Falcons, really nothing. They signed Fabian Moreau, but corner, but nothing really big there. The Panthers, not really anything new. The Saints, really not the same. Nothing new. They're broke. Tampa Bay brought back Leonard Fournette since we last talked.
All right, since we're on Tampa Bay,
and they brought in Ndamukong Suh back since we last talked. Both of them re-signed.
I want to say Tampa Bay fans need to learn how to win because you're not good at it.
Yeah, they're all jerks.
Oh yeah, they got the Patriots treatment.
The Patriots fans still have that Patriots fever. I
Well,
watched one fan.
A lot of those Bucs fans were Patriots fans, so
that's
it's
true. I saw a Patriots fan today say that they were going to get Jimmy Garoppolo and start the dynasty all over. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a dynasty starting quarterback anymore.
Wait, the Patriots said they're out on Jimmy Garoppolo.
They did. This was yesterday that Patriots fans said that, and then today they said they're out.
I was arguing with some Patriots fans in Bucks groups, but all they talk about is Patriot news. And they're like, "We're gonna go get Jimmy G," and I was like, "Okay, why are you in a Buccaneers fan group?"
You're not gonna get Jimmy G anyways. He says he's not going. I just feel like Arizona's a team for old people. I mean, they got Brian Winters, who's old. They just signed him. I don't know.
It's a retirement home, I'm saying.
Yeah, they just signing like old ass dudes.
Even Jonathan Joseph, who's got to be about 60 by now, played for him last year.
The 49ers, they re-signed Mohamed Sanu again. Quan Williams re-signed again. So all three of their starting corners came back, which is big for them. Seattle, I don't know. I know Chris Carson came back. I don't know if we talked since then, but they re-signed Carlos Dunlap, 2 years, $16.6 million, and they got Kerry Hyder from used to be, I don't remember where he was. But he was with San Francisco. That's right.
Have the jelly.
That's pretty much. What big move were you talking about, Warren?
The trades that happened.
Oh, we'll talk about those when the draft. Don't worry about that. All right. Now,
Don't worry about that. It wasn't the Bills.
they officially no the Bills actually might move up, but we'll talk about that again when we talk about the draft too. The league is moving to 17 games, right? And players are tweeting out how dumb, how ridiculous it is. And
Aren't they
I
cutting
see
2 preseason games to do so?
no,
Oh,
not
they're
yet.
not. So they're
No.
just straight up adding a game.
Yes.
Well,
Players say that their bodies suck after 16 games. They don't know how they're going to do it.
I'm sure
so
they
I
can
just
take
want
a couple of those hundreds and dry their tears.
I want to. Well, they're all going to get in there. I talked to the NFLPA guy. I told you guys that at work, and I asked him that question. If they made the move to 17 this year, what happens with contracts? He says all contracts going forward after this year will have 17 games in them, but everybody gets an extra game check this year. Like they'll get an extra. So they're not. Everybody's contract gets one extra game check.
So they're effectively their salaries are going to be prorated out for the extra game.
Yes. So everybody's getting paid an extra game check for the extra game. Now
So they're getting paid for it. So,
but they just some players are calling for like extra days off during the week instead of 1 day off during the practice week 2 now because of the extra week. What do you think?
I think that if I made that much money, I wouldn't really care. But
not wrong.
I mean, but they're putting their body on the line. It's strenuous. I mean, that's hard work.
it is,
Hey,
but
they're making millions of dollars. If they want to swap with me because what I make is not, I will swap
Oh,
places.
I mean, I would play 17 games, but like, I don't know. So, Austin, you haven't spoken. What do you feel?
I think the players are in the right to complain about it. Think about how much pain a lot of players are talk about they're in at the end of the season through 16 games and not even.
Yeah, and some they play through injuries and stuff too. Yeah.
Tons of players play through injuries, and like I know they're making millions of dollars, but like they need to make those millions of dollars to want people to play.
They also agreed to play the 17th game.
That was the point that I was going to make. They sign the contracts. They choose to play a game for their life.
I have a rebuttal on that.
Not every.
I was going to say only 51% of the players signed the contract.
They all signed their own. They all signed their own contract. No one.
I mean, okay, they're their contracts, but their contracts aren't for 17 games yet. Starting next year, they'll be for 17 games.
So they're going to quit playing because of this.
I was going to say not all the players signed for that new CBA.
Like no, but again,
Alvin Kamara and Ryan Fitzpatrick were very outspoken about how they didn't want 17 games.
Yes, and
so why the hell would Ryan Fitzpatrick care? He's retiring anyway. Get that extra game, dude.
I don't know. He did. It was like Richard Sherman spoke out against it. Richard, among others.
Richard Sherman speaks out about everything.
He does. I mean, he's a vocal guy.
But I mean, seriously.
And now
it was majority passed because players wanted to be able to smoke weed.
No, it was from what I hear, it was a young player movement because the young players aren't making the money that the veterans aren't made yet, and there's more young players and rookies and second-year players. There's more players in their rookie deals than most of the other players in the league. So
the rookies aren't beat up yet.
Yeah, and they're not making that much money yet, so they need to play, and that's why they voted for it, from what I heard.
Yeah, I heard similar things, and a lot of I would be if Alvin. So I've only seen Alvin Kamara and Ryan Fitzpatrick's tweets about it. And those players last year and a half ago, when all this started with the talks of 17 games, they were very outspoken about how they
didn't want it then.
They didn't want it then. They tried convincing people not to get it then. The actual like voting signings of it was like super close. Like,
yeah, it was.
Also, the 17 games is a trade-off. They didn't want to play the preseason games.
Well,
so eventually
but they didn't
drop preseason or 2 of the preseason games.
No, the owners. So this is what the NFLPA guy told me. They're not dropping the 2 preseason games unless the players go up to 18 games. And the players adamantly will not go up to 18 games. The only way they get the 2 preseason games dropped is if they add yet another game. and that's not going to happen from what he told me. That's never going to happen. So, and we'll see if their stance changes in a couple of years, but apparently that's not going to happen. Looks like you lost your light, Cody.
Having every video.
My wife tried to sneak by this time.
Oh,
Wasn't the kid. Well, kind of.
all right. So we'll finally talk about what Warren wants to talk about.
He's not even here.
Too bad. We'll talk about it without him. The big trades happened for the draft, pre-draft. The Dolphins traded back from 3 to 12. They picked up 2 extra firsts and a third this year and a first next year and the year after. Then they traded back up to 6 and gave up their first next year, and they swapped picks later in this. The Dolphins moved back, obviously, because they didn't want a quarterback, and 3 is quarterback range. I get that. They moved back up. I think they want Kyle Pitts. I think so. Overall, though, I think it was ingenious. You move back. You still get to play you're going to get at 3 at 6. You don't really lose anything. You gain an extra first a couple of years from now, and you gain a third this year. I mean, I don't see what they lost.
So here's my theory. They moved up to move back again.
You think they're going to move back again?
Well, you got Washington needs a quarterback after this year, probably.
What I'm thinking is, so
The Bears need a quarterback.
If Kyle Pitts goes 4th or 5th, do the Dolphins move back again?
I think so.
I also think so.
Because
that's
then
an interesting theory.
You still have 3 receivers, so then you can move back. Someone else is going to want to come up and grab somebody.
What do you think about that, Warren?
I could see it if Pitts goes in that 4 or 5 slot. Now Miami, the guy that they most likely want, is gone. And as Cody and Austin were hinting at, a lot of the wideouts are still going to be there because you're looking at most likely Lawrence 1. Between Wilson and Fields, they're going to go in the top couple. Sewell probably goes, and then if you take Pitts, there's your top 5. So now all the wideouts are there. They can trade back, snag an extra first rounder to drop back, say 3 spots, and now they can still get their wideout, pick up an extra first rounder that they lost in the trade to move up to 6th. So
yeah.
Well, even if they wanted to move back, you might be looking at 4 quarterbacks being the first 4 picks. So you have Washington and the Bears sitting back there twiddling their thumbs, both needing a quarterback.
Yeah, Mac Jones will be there still.
Unless San Francisco takes him.
Well, yeah, but if they take him, Trey Lance will be there. The 5th quarterback will be there, and the drop-off is significant after that. So, Oh, no, they have like Mons. They have that dude who's flying up the draft boards. He might go in the first round now, too.
I had 6 in the first round in my mock.
So, officially, we're going to do 2 mocks. I want you to say the player, say the team, say the player, and explain a little bit of the pick, and then we'll all critique, and then we'll move on to the number 2. All right. So, kind of like they do on NFL Network when they reveal their mock drafts. Everybody talks about them. Right. So we're going to start with Austin and Cody this week, Warren and me next week, and Austin's going to go first.
Jacksonville is not taking Kyle Pitts.
I'll speed run this. Pitts.
All right. Anyway,
guys, I already put that into the chat if you saw.
Give us a. All right. Let's start at number 1. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
So I'm gonna preface this. This is what I think the teams are gonna do, not what I necessarily think they should do.
It's turning into a Dolphin.
The Jags have basically already been told they have to take Trevor Lawrence, even if they like Zach Wilson more.
I agree with you 100%. I think the owners laid it in stone that they're taking Trevor Lawrence.
Yep. And
I know Cody doesn't necessarily agree.
In a video that he would get fired if he took anybody else.
I've actually heard that video. I haven't seen the video, but I've heard that video exists.
Mr. Jacksonville GM, what do you say?
Which one of us is that?
That's me, because I have like 27.
What's the point of drafting somebody else if you're just going to get fired right after the draft? It doesn't matter.
Urban Meyer's going to bounce anyway. He's going to get sick after the draft.
You're like 6 weeks in when they're 1-5 that
You think they're gonna get a win? That's awfully bold.
Hey, they
That's
got to
the
win
bold-
last. They got to win last year.
Yeah, week
They're
one.
gonna
They got to
win
win.
against
Yeah, they,
It was-
They won against the Colts
they
last week.
were were undefeated for a whole week last year.
with
Yeah,
Gardner.
they beat the Colts in week one last year,
Then they
That's
lost
right.
15 in a row.
and they didn't
Yeah,
win
'cause
again.
they were 1-1 going into the game against Miami, so it was like, oh, this might be a tough game for Miami, and then we just
It was
lit
not.
them up.
It was
You know
not.
what? If you're the GM and you have balls enough to get yourself fired and take the better player, then do it.
Look,
Because
it worked out for the Bears
Look.
GM. He hasn't been fired yet somehow.
Look, you
Moved all the way up for Trubisky.
you come up and take the best player, and then after their rookie year, when Zach Wilson's the rookie of the
Come
year,
on, Troop's got to be
And-
one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's an
and
MVP. There are no other reigning MVPs in the
There
league.
you go, MVPs in Buffalo.
Josh
the
Allen's
only
out of there
the
soon.
only MVP. But I'm thinking, he'd have a jab next year as long as Wilson outplayed Trevor Lawrence anyway. So even if he does get fired, he has another jab lined up.
That's true. Now, if you have Lawrence 1, means you must have another quarterback number 2. Tell us a little bit about that.
Wilson is number 2. I
Could have
think
been one.
Wilson should be number 1. I think personally. I think his pro day when he threw off his back foot,
That pass was incredible.
hit the receiver in stride.
That was like 60 yards down the field too.
Off his back foot. It was just.
Yeah, don't do that in the NFL though. Don't throw off your back foot like that.
Patrick
No, if
Mahomes
you got
does
that
it all
kind
the
of action. That's the one thing I had with Zach Wilson. He throws from weird angles, and his feet aren't always right, but the ball is always where it needs to be.
So next I have Trey Lance. I think the 49ers moving up before Justin Fields pro day kind of says they want Trey Lance.
All right. Now this is your mock, and I want to ask you, what do you think about the talks about the moving up from Mac Jones?
I think it makes sense. I kind of said that. He's smart. It's not like he's immobile.
Yeah, but they don't have to move up to 3 for Mac Jones.
I think they'd have to move into the top 10.
Yeah, but they could have moved to 5, 6, 7, 8. They didn't have to give all up to move to 3.
They tried, didn't they?
No, they tried 3, 4, and 5.
Who'd you take it to?
Wilson. I'm gonna post it all later.
Oh, Zach Wilson is a shoo-in for number 2 if he's there. The Jets love him.
Draft starts at 3. And
The
if
whole
the draft
gang,
might
the
not
whole
even
gang
start.
in New York went to see Zach Wilson. So
I'm trying to punch it in and follow along as I
It's in the chat.
follow.
Zach Wilson is the
So-
best quarterback in the draft, and it really pisses me off that Jacksonville's not smart enough to send people to watch.
they didn't send anybody except for Dave Caldwell, and they only did like
They're a bubble.
to appease players. Like Urban Meyer only went to Trevor Lawrence's pro day, and he even helped Trevor Lawrence organize his pro day. If that doesn't tell you he's going to Jacksonville, I don't know what does.
I hope Daryl Bevel goes back and says Zach Wilson's the guy I need to run my offense.
Imagine.
I don't think. Yeah, you know what happened to Daryl Bevel? They would just fire him on the spot.
Have you guys seen Draft Day? Like the movie?
That movie's phenomenal. I watch that every year on draft day.
So that's what's gonna happen
It's
this
my
year.
ritual.
That's all.
Monte Mac, no matter what.
All
Ted
right.
Boseman's dead.
I have
That's my favorite character that Chad Boseman ever played was Vontae Mack in Pro Day.
the Broncos trading up with the Falcons.
Son of a bitch, our drafts are almost identical. so-
Okay, so tell me the trade though. You just haven't traded up, but what do you have them giving the Falcons to move up to 4?
Who'd the Niners take?
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
It's in the chat. Just copy and paste it.
So in 4, you have the Broncos moving up, and what do they give up to move up to 4 spots?
They're gonna give a first, like they're gonna swap first this year, a first next year, and a veteran player, whichever veteran players the Falcons say they want. I always say Von Miller, but
I don't think they want linemen. Well, they could use them. They have holes at every
Von
area.
Miller
So
is like my base old Broncos player, so it could be.
they
any-
have holes at every phase of their defense, so they could take anybody.
The Bengals are gonna take.
Oh, you didn't say who they're going to take. You said the Broncos are going to move up.
Fields, sorry, they're gonna take Justin Fields.
I want you to tell us what about these players you like.
Justin Fields, dude, it's fast. He's one of 3 quarterbacks to run 4-4 or lower.
You like him in that offense in Denver?
Oh yeah, I think it'd be crazy. He actually has a really strong arm, not like Zach Wilson strong, but he has a very good arm. And him with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, CJ Hamler, Noah Fant,
Tim Patrick.
Patrick,
it would be. I think it'd
my
be
favorite
very
Broncos
cool.
receiver.
Yeah, I like Tim Patrick a lot. He played well last year. All right, number 5, the Bengals.
So the Oregon lineman.
Penei Sewell.
Yeah,
Penei Sewell.
I'm not high on
I
him.
don't like that for them. Why'd you get Riley Reef? 2 years ago, they drafted Jonah Williams.
I think
Why?
it's just
Why did you to draft another tackle? They just signed their guards. They need a center, but they can get that later. I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but like I said at the beginning, it's what I think the team is going to do. And they've been
Hey, we finally got a different pick.
I hear
think-
that Joe Burrow is lobbying and begging them to take
Joe
Jamar Chase.
Burrow
Any
begged
chance
for
that
offensive
happens?
linemen. Joe Burrow begged for offensive linemen before he got hurt too.
Yeah, but now they have the offensive lineman. Jonah Williams is
After he
back. They
got
got
hurt?
Riley Reef.
Before he
They got
got hurt,
Spain.
it was the key word. They're going to get him a receiver when he decides he wants to go to Oakland, like Carson Palmer.
Well, Oakland doesn't have a team anymore, so what's he doing in Oakland?
And they'll be back.
So it's like, no. What are the chances you think of Jamar Chase being the pick instead of Penei Sewell?
I think if they want a receiver, they would trade down just to get more picks.
Well, they got to get if Jamar Chase is going to be number 1. I mean, there are teams coming up who want a receiver.
Jamar Chase isn't number 1 on everyone's board.
Not on everyone's board, but what about Detroit? I think Detroit at 7 wants a receiver. They can't go farther down than that.
It depends on where you think their draft boards line up. And
Well,
you
yeah, I
convince-
mean, it depends on who you think is number 1 on Detroit's
And I
board too.
don't-
If you convince Miami that you want Kyle Pitts, then
You
can
might get-
Miami to.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might get
Yeah.
Miami to go up 1 spot.
that's who I personally think they should take. I think Kyle Pitts is the best safety blanket if you want for a quarterback. Dude catches
And
everything.
I also think that Pitts is a safe pick for the Bengals because they don't have a tight
Okay.
end.
They don't have a tight end.
Uzumoa, what was that guy's name? Uzumoa?
They're not going to ask him to block. Like they're literally going to be like, go line up.
They
Beat
do
that
have a tight
linebacker.
end. He's just coming off an Achilles injury.
And then they I mean, they have decent receivers. They have Tyler Boyd and they have
Higgins.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, who played well. I would
there's
say
a
either
couple-
Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts would help that offense a lot.
I think Sewell.
Sewell.
Yeah, that guy. He's just been pegged there for so long, kind of like how Trevor Lawrence is, where it's going to
But
be.
I think that Riley Reef signing damages while going to
It
them.
depends if they see him as the generational talent he's touted to be, as he's touted to be talked about. Is Riley?
He didn't
Reef
play
better
last
than
year either,
generational
Sewell.
talent?
So, do you think not playing might hurt him? You might fall to.
No, I don't think
later in
not
the-
playing will hurt any of them.
All right. So, okay. So, no, enough about us picking you apart. So, you got Sewell at 5. What do
And
you
then
think at 6?
I have
the-
Kyle Pitts to Miami, like I just talked about. If you want your quarterback to
Warren,
get,
you feel good about that?
I'm good with that.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I think we start to run double tight end sets. You get Gesicki, you get Pitts, and you just
I
say-
also hear that the Dolphins.
And you could just
Don't
have him
want
run a
to-
5-yard out. And
I hear the Dolphins want to trade Gesicki because they don't want to pay him next year. I hear that he might, if they get Pitts, they might move on from Gesicki. I'm hearing rumblings of that. What do you think about that?
I like Gesicki. I wouldn't be surprised by it. I think it depends what he's gonna want.
It's a contract year for him, so right? Like
It is. So maybe it's they trade him beforehand and hope that
He
he
doesn't-
struggles.
they don't want to pay him, from what I
I'd
hear.
Yeah.
I'd
Or they
like
could
to
keep him for
see-
the year and then try to trade him. But the problem is trading him going into the free agency year is going to be really hard. So
I'd like to see the Dolphins either play in 2 tight end sets because with Gesicki and
The problem with playing
Yeah,
2 tight
yeah.
end sets for the Dolphins with those 2 tight ends is that neither of them can block. Gesicki can't block. Like that's for sure. Kyle Pitts can't really block either.
which one's the murderer?
Oh, in that case,
Kyle Pitts, dude, do you see how fast that man is? He's gonna catch every person he tries to kill and kill them.
Gesicki, because he looks crazy. Like I just think Gesicki looks fucking nuts. I think
watched
Gesicki.
Kyle Pitts
Warren,
grow
who's the murderer?
like babies.
Gesicki's an absolute beast. Like he's just like a freak of nature.
So Gesicki's a murderer then.
The dude's like 6'4", 250 pounds, and you're at a 4.
But that's the problem. Don't you agree, Cody? Running 2 tight end sets in Miami with 2 tight ends who can't block is a problem, right? Then they know you're throwing the ball.
Well, it depends. Do they have 2 receivers that can catch?
I don't know if they have 2 receivers that can catch there.
Like,
They have Devontae Parker.
Yeah, Will Fuller and Devontae Parker.
Oh yeah, they got Will Fuller now. Will Fuller has better
Will
hands than
Fuller?
Devontae Parker for sure.
Right. Well, I was just saying, the point I was getting at was if that's all you have to catch the ball, then that's what you run. It was.
So my
You
next.
don't necessarily have to run a 2 tight end set with Pitts either. You can put them in the slot.
They
He'd be
could
the
because they
third
could
wide
use
receiver.
Parker and Fuller on the outside, him in the slot, and line up Gesicki at tight end.
I have Jamar Chase.
Going to the Lions, is that who?
Yep.
Yep.
That would be phenomenal for them. They need to replace Galladay on that.
I'm
And then
sad
offense.
because that means Jamar
So-
Chase's career is over.
They need offensive linemen too, but I really think that you're right. I think they're going to go wide receiver.
So, does Tim Boyle start this year for the Lions?
No.
I think he does at some point.
I don't know. To start the season, they already said that Jared Goff is their guy. I mean,
I
they
know,
said that
but
a bunch of times, but
Jared Goff was the guy in LA until he wasn't.
at least they let him finish the season until he got hurt.
He was a guy. He wasn't our guy. He was a guy.
They didn't even want him to play in the playoff game. They're like, well, I guess since our quarterback got his head took off, you're playing.
Yeah. They could have put in their third string guy.
Did you play quarterback too?
But I think that Goff will start. I think if they can run, I mean, they've got good pieces. I like TJ Hawkinson. I think he's a good tight end. I think they've got pieces there. I mean, they just need. They got DeAndre Swift, who I really like. Kerryon Johnson. That's a good two-headed monster running back. I just think they need wide receiver and offensive lineman on that offense.
I just think he was really inconsistent with. I think he was really inconsistent with the better team around him, and I don't see his consistency getting any better with the worst team.
But I still do agree that they're going to take a receiver. Don't you guys think they're going to take a receiver?
Yeah.
I think it's the most Lions thing to do.
Although a tackle would make sense for him too.
Well, like Rashawn Slater.
Yeah,
Slater, Sewell, or whoever's there at 7. It depends on what goes on at the front end of the draft.
They did lose their tackle too in free agency. All right, Austin, who you got at 8?
Mac Jones to the Panthers.
Mac Jones. I mean, I know the Panthers want a quarterback. That makes sense. Could you see the Panthers moving up to 4 instead of the Broncos?
I don't think the Falcons would trade with the Panthers.
Oh, they're in the same division. That's right. I forget.
Well, I mean, the way division trades work is if you really want this spot, you're going to pay me more than what the next.
Yeah, they would have to give up more.
So originally I had this pick going to Houston like a month ago, and then all the Deshaun Watson stuff happened. So
I don't think Deshaun Watson's moving until that whole thing is settled.
I agree. And that's why I just have them taking whatever quarterback out of the top 5 is there for them.
This is the 5th quarterback on your board?
Yep.
There's a big drop off from there. Well, they have Kyle Mons or from the dude from A&M. He's
He is
flying up
not
boards.
my top 32 picks. I'm sorry, Cody.
Hey, he's in mine. I have 6 quarterbacks in the first.
Then I have Parsons.
That's at what, 9?
Yep.
And that's to who?
So that'd be the Falcons then, because
Yep, they've traded with
The
the
Falcons need everything on defense, so that fits.
and Parsons is a freaking athlete.
He's
What about that dude? What about that dude from Notre Dame though? Because they need they need safeties, they need linebackers, they need every position.
I think the Falcons are gonna take the freak of nature athlete or trade because if they wanted JOK, I think they would trade down with a different team. And I don't.
So yeah, JOK they're not going to take JOK in the top 10. If you're picking between Parsons and JOK, I'm taking Parsons all day.
Yeah, and Parsons may not even want to play football anymore. But if there's the chance that he wants to play football, I think he will be a better player than JOK because he's a freak of nature.
He's so fat. He ran a 4.36 40.
Yes, I saw that. That's ridiculous for a
He
linebacker.
did what, like 17 reps of 250 on the bench too? It was fucking insane.
That's faster than like Tremaine Edmonds, but Tremaine Edmonds is huge though. He's like
The only
6'5".
the only person faster than him was the Shaquille Griffin's brother, and he only has one hand.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
had some of that drag cut off.
So
Yeah.
Micah Parsons at 9. What do you got at 10?
J.C. Horn.
Who's picking at 10? I don't have the
Dallas.
order.
That's,
Dallas.
that's my guy. That's my boy at 10.
And I think that Cody would love that pick. What do you think?
I would love that pick. That is my guy. I'm JC Horner bust.
You think that's your biggest need now?
I wanted to put Patrick Surtain there so bad.
All the mocks have Patrick Surtain there.
I fucking hate that pick because he's a cornerback too at best, and Kenny Galladay would feast on him.
But so is that what you? Well, we'll get your mock draft later. But all right, who's at 11?
Quiddy Pay.
Oh, the lineman from Michigan.
Yep.
Who picks at 11?
Giants.
That makes sense. The Giants need edge rushers. What about Rashawn Slater though to the Giants if he's not gone yet? I think that would be more of their pick than this guy. What do you think, Cody?
I think they invested a ton into their offense in free agency, so I think they're going to go with defense. And I think Quiddy Pay's the best edge rusher, and was signing.
But they didn't.
So-
They didn't address the offensive line needs.
So we had kind of talked in the group chat, and I think people are going to overpay for edge rushers this year because there's a lot of teams that need them, and none of them are any good. Quiddy Pay, if you coach him up, will be an absolute beast because he is amazing against the run. He just sucks as a pass rusher because he hasn't been taught how to rush the passer.
And
He runs into blockers, and he's like, okay, now what do? I don't have a plan.
And I've heard rumors of him being switched to linebacker when he makes it to the NFL.
But like against the run, he is the best edge guy there is. So I mean,
So what do you think
you can coach
about them
up
going
his
Rashawn's? What do you think about them going offensive line or defensive line, Cody? What do you think?
Well, I actually think they probably go edge in the first round. There's
You agree? Okay. All right. Fair enough. What about a
that's
guy
a
like
fit.
Slater?
The problem is you can get good tackles later in this draft. If you don't get one of the top 3 edge rushers, you're out of luck.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. What do you see at 12?
Waddle to the Eagles.
That's a need. They need a receiver badly. I think that's why they're comfortable moving to 12 because they think one of the top 3 receivers will still be there. You have them getting a second receiver. See, my 2 biggest needs for the Eagles are receiver and corner. So whatever is the better there, they would take. And Jalen Waddle fits. So
I have Slater.
at 13, who's there?
I didn't write that in my notes.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Chargers. I don't know that they go tackle for the Chargers.
They need a
They
They need a tackle. They need a tackle bad.
They signed a couple tackles. I don't know if they're gonna work out, but they signed some.
Yeah, I still think tackle's their biggest need.
I thought they
They're
needed
totally
a center,
cool.
but they signed Lindsley. So
Yeah, they signed Corey Lindley, and they want to keep Justin Herbert upright.
who they signed a tackle? Who was it? Hold on, I have it here.
Barmore at 14.
Who's that?
He's
Vikings.
yeah.
Christian Barmore is a defensive tackle for
Defensive
Alabama.
tackle. Okay, they just signed 2 defensive tackles. Why would the Vikings take another defensive tackle?
Because he's the best one in this draft, and I think he's the best one overall, and I think he's better than the ones on their team. And that's where they struggled a lot this year, was generating pressure.
They got Dalvin Tomlinson though from the
Yeah, you put Christian Barmore and Dalvin Tomlinson together.
I thought they signed another one too, but I'm not sure actually.
It'd be
Hold on.
terrified. Christian Barmore made
Oh, they signed Matt Filer. Never mind. The Chargers need to tackle. Matt Filer kind of sucks.
oh my god, the top guard in this draft. What's his name? Cody.
Top guard.
Yep.
Oh, it's the guy with 2 last names.
Barrett Tucker.
Nah, he's
Yeah.
technically a tackle. But yeah.
They said he's going to play guard in the NFL.
Christian Barmore made that man look like a baby. He ate
Yeah,
him.
USC. I was thinking guard wise, I wasn't sure who you're going with. Depends on
No, they didn't get 2. They got 1. They got Dalvin Thompson. The
Yeah.
other guy they got is Stephen Weatherly.
I
He's a
have-
defensive end.
defensive end.
I have Pittsburgh trading up here.
To what? This is 15.
Yep, with the Patriots.
And who are they getting?
Christian Darrisaw.
Tackle out of Virginia Tech.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They'll give up a future first in a second.
Okay. A future first and a second, move up. What, like 8 spots?
Yeah, 8 or 9, I think.
Darisaw or whatever. Okay, all right. They need a tackle, so well, it depends on what. Really, this all hinges on what Villanueva decides to do because they re-signed the other starter on the other side. If Villanueva comes back to Pittsburgh, then I don't think that they're going to draft a tackle. But if he doesn't, then they need a tackle super badly.
I have JOK going at 16.
To who?
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Okay, all right.
Gonna have to pair him with Isaiah Simmons, who unfairly does not get credit for what JOK is getting credit for.
So where do you think that he's going to play? A hybrid just like Simmons does, or?
I think he'll play like the opposite hybrid of what Simmons does because when Simmons came out, he was a linebacker. He was
Safety linebacker.
Yeah, safety linebacker, and JOK is a linebacker safety.
I think they play Simmons at linebacker. In Arizona,
that's where they'll play him in JOK at safety.
Simmons is a legitimate linebacker. He's just freaky enough. JOK is not a legitimate linebacker. He's only 215 pounds. I think when he gets drafted, it's as a safety strictly.
He's got to play safety at that weight. He's not big enough to play linebacker.
I just think Arizona has kind of.
I like Arizona's defense. That would make him even scarier.
Movement when they drafted Tyrann Mathieu and had him play everywhere: strong safety, free safety, corner, linebacker.
They had him play corner. I don't like Tyrann Mathieu at linebacker. I don't think he does enough. I don't think he's strong enough. But they did. I like him at slot corner. I do like him at both safety positions.
Yeah, so they had him play everywhere, and that's kind of been a thing that their GM loved.
The problem when they have Tyrann Mathieu play linebacker, I don't think he's like super good against the run.
Tyrann Mathieu, if he isn't blocked, is super good against the run.
That's a big if though. If he's not touched by anybody.
When he gets faced up on a blocker, he's too small to get off. That's his problem. But he'll come and blow you up.
Well, that's my problem with him at linebacker. That's what I'm saying. Playing in the box as a safety is one thing, but playing him at linebacker, I don't think he's big enough to get off blocks at the linebacker position.
I have Patrick Surtain going next.
That's at 17?
Yep.
To who?
Raiders.
The Raiders? Okay. They need a corner. They need linemen too, but they need a corner too.
And then
they have a few holes there too. Go ahead.
I have Gregory Rousseau going to Miami at 18.
I thought you really hate the Dolphins, don't you?
I don't like him, but I think if there's a team that is going to get his.
Let me ask you something though. With them taking Kyle Pitts at 6 and Devontae Smith still being on the board, you don't think that's the pick?
I don't personally. I think they're going to go defense and off. They're going to try to go defense and offense.
Let's get our Miami Dolphins expert and ask him.
What?
So, Warren, they at 6, they go Pitts. Devontae Smith is there at 18. Do you agree that they would take a defensive lineman, an edge rusher?
We need edge rushing. We haven't really done much with it. We got Will Fuller. We got Pitts. I could see either way.
But didn't they outwardly say they wanted to add Smith or a receiver or something like that?
They added Will Fuller.
No, I'm talking about in the draft after that.
They added Will Fuller. Smith has come right out and endorsed.
You're correct, though. They did not add an edge rusher at all. They didn't add any defensive lineman. Oh, they added a defensive tackle. One.
They added a tackle. They didn't add any defensive end.
Nope, they didn't add any
Smith
edge
has
rushers,
come out
really.
and endorsed Jones over to us. So you now potentially create a little bit of a. Miami has been in the spotlight like until the trades a couple of days ago. Everybody was still saying Tua's not the guy, this and that. Now people are finally starting to say, "Oh wait,
well,
those trades
solidified that he's the guy. They're not drafting a quarterback at 6.
Everybody in Miami had been saying it for a while now, and nobody believed them. So Miami is going to be the center of controversy no matter what.
You think they would go edge rusher here with the second pick of the first? And not wait till the second.
Fuller and Pitts, they've still got the second round picks. so they can go and get a running back if they
And
want
their
it.
second round pick is high because they have the second round pick.
I also considered that for the Dolphins. And I didn't mean to cut anybody off, but I also considered running back. What about that? Like Travis Etienne or Harris
And
or
Etienne is who I would like to see. I think they can snag him early second round with that early second round pick. So yeah, I like
Well,
the
I
idea.
think
of getting
Etienne
an
might-
edge rusher.
there's some people in the 30s who have their eye on him.
Yeah, but they have the Texans pick, so like their pick is high enough where they can move back.
They don't have the Texans pick in the second round. They had the Texans pick in the first round.
No, the Texans don't have their second round pick. Who do they trade?
Yeah,
that?
but it's not to the Dolphins. They traded it for who was it?
I thought they got the first and seconds for.
No, they got
I
the
thought
first.
they traded that with No, that was Kenny Stills.
Oh, it
wasn't
was the other deal. It was yeah, but I don't think that was this year's second. I thought it was last year's second.
It was both. The Laramie
They
Tunsil.
didn't. I don't think they got 2 seconds for Kenny Stills, because the Laramie Tunsil was just the 2 firsts.
Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills were the same trade.
Yeah, I was in the same trade.
They announced them separately, like 3
Yeah.
hours apart.
Same trade. Like
Did they get seconds? I thought they only got first.
Hold on, I'm trying to see where the
Yeah, they have round 2 from Houston, so they'll be picking third in the second round.
yeah,
do?
so they
All
can
right.
trade back.
No,
in,
the Kenny Stills and Laramie Tunsil trades were 2 separate trades, I thought. So I think that's how the second came.
That's what I thought, though. I thought they were 2 separate trades too.
No,
I
they
think-
were part of the same trade.
Yeah, I've always seen them as part of the same trade.
No. I remember. Specifically remember this happening, and they were 2 separate trades because they didn't happen on the same day. They were like the Kenny Stills trade was like the day after. Laramie Tunsil was first, and then Kenny Stills was after that.
Did they get finalized on the same day? And that's
They might have got announced because both of them happened before the official start of the league year. So they might have got announced, like officially signed on the same day, but they got agreed to on separate occasions.
okay.
They might have even read it up as one trade, but I remember like when that happened, like it was like back-to-back trades to the same 2 teams, and I thought the same thing. Why didn't they just do one trade? But it was weird. But anyways, go ahead. So yeah,
they were 2 separate trades, but they both happened on the same day.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
what- yeah.
that's what it was.
I have Nick Bolton going
he's a
on.
linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Who's at 19 again?
To Washington,
Yep.
Yeah.
They need a
Yeah.
better linebacker.
you need
Yeah,
to
they do.
not put Nick Bolton on that defense.
Hey,
Nick Bolton belongs nowhere near that fucking defense.
All right, Nick Bolton.
I've seen a lot
linebacker.
of mock drafts put Micah Parsons in that defense, and I was like, I don't hate Cody that much.
Nick Bolton's my favorite linebacker. in the draft.
I think that Washington doesn't deserve 2 freaks of nature.
I
between
think that
Young and Micah Parsons.
Washington needs linebackers. They also need a tight end. And that's
They
it.
also need a quarterback.
Well, for now, they think they're going to run with what? They're going to run with Ryan Fitzpatrick this year. So,
Well, you can, but you're not getting a quarterback next year. They suck.
that's true. But Washington with a linebacker is really good. Like I said, they need to get a tight end in the second. I think
I
they'll
think
be even better.
Washington will end up in Indy's position, like that we saw Indy in the last 2 years, where they're just signing the best free
Oh, they're like just signing veteran free agents.
They're well put together.
What about like next year? They all have Jacoby Brissett will be out. Teddy Bridgewater will be available. Mitch
I think
Trubisky
next
will be
year they'll
available.
have Jameis Winston, but like that's a thing we'll talk about next year.
Yeah, James Winston will be available.
We're jumping
All right.
at it this whole
So-
season here.
At 20, who do you got?
To the Bears.
Yeah, who?
Smith to the Bears.
Who's Smith? Oh, Devontae Smith. Okay.
Okay.
Pair with Allen Robinson. You think that keeps Allen Robinson? You think he's more likely to sign if they get another receiver?
Yeah, I think it will take some pressure off of them. And they have Darnell Mooney. So you have Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Smith.
What
and-
about their problem on the offensive line?
I don't think Ryan Pace is very smart, so I don't think he'll get actual needs.
All right. Go ahead. Who's 21?
Jalen Phillips.
Edge
Okay.
rush.
He's an edge rusher for Miami also, right?
I think he's the best edge rusher in the class.
Originally, he's from UCLA,
Yeah.
but he played at Miami last year.
I think he's my edge number 1 in the class, like we talked about. But I think the Dolphins want to make the splashier move,
My only problem with Jalen Phillips is he's been hurt 3 out of his 4 years of college, and he still did get hurt this year. It just wasn't the season enders like it was years prior.
So
Okay.
my thing for that is like if you're drafting because you're worried a player's gonna get hurt, it's just kind of like drafting to lose.
I agree. So 22, who do you got? Is this Jets or is that 23?
Farley.
Titans are 22.
Titans. Okay. You have Caleb Farley.
Yeah.
They need a corner badly, so that fits.
Then 23 is the Jets again, right?
Yep, the Jets.
ETN.
I don't like that just because I don't like him I don't want him to play for the Jets, but
I don't like it because it means Frank Gore's not the starter. Oh,
well, Frank Gore doesn't play there anymore. He's a
He
free
might.
agent.
he might.
He might go back there. He might.
Gonna go to Tampa to win.
The Jets are interesting because they could go corner here. They need corners. They didn't feel their corner need per se, and that's all they really need on the defense. They could go corner too.
I think they want to get 2 stars and Travis.
But no, I mean Etienne is a need. I mean they don't have a good running back. They need a running back. So I mean it fits.
Kind of like hope Zach Wilson for his first year.
Mm-hmm. What do you think they could wait till the second round though? If like
I think both of the top two perceived running backs will be gone.
Gotcha. Okay.
See,
I mean Etienne's a fit, and I've seen him mocked there in other places too. So
it's where I'm at with ETN's only running back. I think that goes in the first round.
I think Najee Harris is going to go to Tampa, but it's.
But well, you already gave away your Tampa pick now. But anyways, what do you have at 24 for us?
Rashad Bateman,
Wide receiver. Who's he going to? What team is that?
Steelers.
Patriots.
Oh yeah.
He had the Steelers.
I wasn't
trade.
paying attention, so just listening to picks.
And then this is the one that I'm pretty sure Cody and I aren't going to have the same if we had any of the others the same.
Jags.
Yep, Trayvon Morig.
No, we got that one the same.
Really?
Was he? He's a lineman, right?
No, he's a safety for TCU.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, okay. I asked you to look at him, right, for the Bills, maybe. Okay. Go ahead.
And then I have Zaven Collins.
Oh, by the way, I like that Rashad Bateman pick. I didn't really comment on it because somebody texted me, but I really like that pick for the Patriots. They really need a big receiver.
Yeah,
but that pick ain't gonna happen because Bill Belichick sucks at picking wide receivers.
He does. He's gonna pick like the 5th best wide receiver that's available.
Atwell. Him and N'Keal Harry will team up.
But okay, so who's at 25?
Well, Zaven Collins.
That's
Who's he play
26.
for? Oh, who's he play for?
Zaven Collins is Tulsa's linebacker, mini or lacker.
Oh, I meant like who's the team?
26th.
Browns.
Browns.
They need a
All
line.
right. That's all they really need is a linebacker. That team is ready.
And then I have the Ravens. Taking Terrace Marshall.
What position?
Wide
receiver.
I think he gets lessened a little bit with the Sammy Watkins trading, but I could still see it. I mean, they still need receivers, but
I think he's better than Hollywood Brown.
I think they need 9 linemen and a running back.
that's all they really need.
I
I think they need a guard though, but that could be later in the draft.
have Levi Onwuzurike. I don't know how to say it.
Defensive tackle out of Washington.
Thank you.
Who's picking 28th?
Saints.
Okay, that's a need. Okay, they just lost Sheldon Rankins and their other defensive tackle too. So,
Levi Onwuzurike.
all right, who's at 29?
Good luck getting that down.
Asante Samuel.
Asante Samuel Jr.
The Packers.
Over Greg Newsome.
Yep.
You like him better? Okay, that's fine. That's fair. Okay, and then, I mean,
I like his bloodline better.
With Kevin King though, I mean, are they going to go corner though?
The Packers hate Kevin King. I think Kevin King was only signed in case all of the top corners.
What about they need a linebacker? I know that for sure. They need a tackle. But other than that, I don't know what else they need. I can't think of anything else they
I
need.
still think they need to upgrade from Kevin King. You want Kevin King as your third cornerback, not your second.
Yeah, You can't have Kevin King starting in a game unless there's other injuries.
Okay. So they're going to put Asante Samuel on the outside opposite Jair Alexander.
And you can't put him against the fastest guy on a team and not have help over the top.
So at 30,
the Bills
Buffalo.
don't get a draft pick.
Oh,
They
stop
forfeited their first round pick. They
Oh,
ran
stop. All right, who do they pick?
They got Greg Newsome.
Love
Jim
it.
Kelly.
I love it. Our biggest need is corner 2. And I like Greg Newsome. I watched him. I actually watched tape on him. He's one of 3 players I watched some tape on. But I really like him. I like his ball skills. I think he's fast. I think he tackles well. And something that we lacked, especially in the run game, was corners who can come up and make tackles. So
he's definitely
I
a
like it.
tackler. He likes it.
I really like it. That's who I have the Bills taking too. So all right, go ahead.
You just picked your pet cat and fell in love with him. You're like, he's falling here no matter who needs a cornerback.
That's right. No matter who. That's who's coming to Buffalo.
I have Elijah Vera Tucker going to the Chiefs.
He's a guard, right?
He's a guard, but Kyle Long has said that he's going to play tackle. I mean,
so they have Kyle Long, and they signed Mike Remmers, and then they have
their entire offensive line movement is going to.
They got Tooney
and change.
Their center's coming back, so it's going to be their center now, then Tooney, then Remmers, and then you think Kyle Long, and then Tucker.
Dr. hyphenated name that I can't think of.
Louvre-Dene.
Oh, but if he comes back, then he's their guard. Then they don't need any.
He's not very good.
He played really well 2 years ago. Duvernay.
He had like 3 good snaps all season.
He didn't Duvernay well.
Why? What the fuck?
Just throwing random shit out here.
I love it.
And then I have Najee Harris going to the Bucks, but I could also see the Bucks just trading out of the first round.
No, I have the Bucks going completely different there.
Well, I think the Bucks just hate Ronald Jones. Like, dude had a 99-yard touchdown, and they're like, let's put Leonard Fournette in the game now.
All right, so
no, they hate Ronald pass catching ability.
That was Austin's mock book, and I think he did well. I think he hit needs. Let's see where him and Cody differ. So
we had the same.
where you guys are the same. We won't like critique too much because we already did with Austin, but maybe the difference is. All right, let's start your mock, Cody.
Yeah, I don't like all these picks. Like the first one, I really hate Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags. I don't think he fits the system.
Oh, you actually picked that. I thought you were going to come out of the gate swinging and go Zach Wilson instead.
No, that'll be my final draft. I'm going to go with Zach Wilson on my final one.
All right, who do you have it to?
For now, I'm going to go with what they're saying they're picking because they're a bunch of pussies.
That means Wilson's at 2 then.
Yeah, Wilson's at 2 to the Jets.
I think Jacksonville is a bunch of pussies. Like that owner is like bullying them. He's telling them, basically, he told them, if you don't pick this dude, you're fired. So,
yeah, which obviously means you don't want to win if you're not going to put the time into watching everybody.
Oh, but what owners want. Jerry said it. Other owners have said it. They just want money.
Well, Jerry has money, so it's stupid for him to want more.
I mean, he literally said that. Like, I don't care if we win or lose. We're the most watched team in the league, and I make a shitload of money.
I think he does care to an extent. He just wants to come off as he doesn't care.
That's possible. Go ahead.
Because he goes to gas stations and buys cheap wine.
But is it boxed wine, cheap wine?
So then I actually had this trade almost exactly right before it happened. And got the 49ers taking Trey Lance. So there's a lot of smoke around Mac Jones, though. I just don't see him having to move up to 3 to take Mac Jones.
That's what I was telling Austin. He had Trey Lance too, but I don't think they're moving up to 3 for Mac Jones. I think they might have to move into the top 10, but probably like 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even think they'd need to move. I think Mac Jones is there at 12. We'll get them way later in this draft. At 4, I had the Broncos trading up with the Falcons.
Same trade then.
Yeah. pretty much. I had 9, 40, 71, and 1 next year for 4 this year. And Justin Fields, so same pick. Same
pick too. There you go. How do you think he fits in that offense? We heard how Austin think he fits, but how do you think he fits?
I think he'd fit well. I have my most reservations about him as a player out of any of them.
He's got
but,
heart though. If you watch that Clemson game.
Oh, he's got heart and the potential's there. But if you watch, like, you go back and watch the Indiana game, the Northwestern game, they won those games running the ball. They didn't win them off of him because he struggled mightily in those games. I just think when he plays tougher competition, he doesn't always do as well. Although then he goes into Clemson and he takes care of business there. So, but then he fell apart again against Bama. So, I mean, I think he needs a year to learn the system. I don't think he'll do great if they just throw him into the fire.
Well, if he goes to Denver, Denver's throwing him into the fire.
Yep. And that is my problem with him. But and here's the first real different pick. Warren's not here, so I don't want to make it yet.
Well, Austin's not here either. Oh, there's one.
There's Warren. Now I can make my pick because he's who I wanted here for this pick. I have the Bengals taking Kyle Pitts at 5 because Joe Burrow loves to throw to the.
I mean, that makes sense though. They don't have a big pass catching tight end. I mean, they have a tight end, Uzamoa or whatever his name is, but he's not a big pass catcher. That fits more of a need than I think than taking a wide receiver. So.
Yeah, I like where they're at wide receiver, but I do like getting Burrow another weapon. And why not get the best pass catcher in the draft for him? Especially since he had 3 tight ends he used a lot at LSU, Thaddeus Moss being one of them. He wasn't anywhere near the plane that Kyle Pitts is as a player.
He's not even in the NFL, Thaddeus Moss.
He was with Washington.
Oh, was
he?
He
was on IR. He got picked up and he had the foot injury.
Okay. So what do you have at 6?
At 6 for the Dolphins. Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU.
So I think that if the Dolphins don't get Pitts, do you think they might trade back?
I do. I'm kind of thinking they traded back up to 6 to move out of it again. Because on draft day, that pick's a lot more valuable than what it is this far out.
Okay. What about 7?
The Lions, I had taken Jalen Waddle out of wide receiver out of Alabama.
So you have Chase, Waddle, 6 and 7. Okay.
At 8 for the Panthers, I have Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State.
Not quarterback? You don't think they're going to go quarterback?
I think with the top 4 gone, I don't think they do.
You don't think Mac Jones like Austin does?
See, that they do still have need at linebacker. And if you're going best player available.
Even with Hassan Reddick signing and they brought in Perryman.
Yeah, I still think that at that point they probably go best player available because I still think it's a reach on Mac Jones. I think it's a reach on.
No chance they trade back then?
There's a chance, but I didn't have anyone come up there. I had the trade with the Vulcans. I had the Vulcans taking Patrick Surtain out of Bama.
At 9?
Yep.
Okay. That's a need. You could say anything on defense and it's a need, so.
And that just opened up J.C. Horn for Dallas at 10.
Which is the same pick he had. That's the guy you want.
Yep. I did the same thing you did with Newsome. I made sure he was there when I picked him. I do think he's the best cornerback in the draft, though. I think he's like a Jalen Ramsey style. So then at 11, I did the same thing that Austin did and had the Pats take a wide receiver, but I traded up with the Giants to get it. New York Giants traded 11 to the Patriots for 15, 120, and 177. And the Patriots take Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Okay, so you have the top 3 receivers off the board by 11.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so what does Philly do?
Philly goes wide receiver. They go Deshaun Jackson style and Rondale Moore out of Purdue.
Okay. What about like Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss or the other like
Elijah
Bateman?
Moore is a big receiver. Philadelphia likes small, fast receivers for some reason. That's who they
They
always
just got
seem to
one. They
draft.
just got one. What the fuck's Jalen Rieger?
Yeah, and they just got him while having Deshaun Jackson. So since Deshaun Jackson's gone,
But they also
he
had
played-
Alshon Jeffrey, which they don't have now.
well, Alshon Jeffrey didn't play for what, 3 years?
He played, just not well.
No, he was hurt most
He
of
was
the last 2 years.
he was hurt most of last year. He played the year before, I think.
I don't think he played a full season. I'll have to look that up.
I don't think he played a full season yet. I think you're right about that. I don't know if he played a couple games. Hold on, I got it right here. So you like the small receiver though?
Philly likes the small receivers.
You're not wrong. They do.
And with Deshaun Jackson leaving, he fits the Deshaun
Yeah,
Jackson
so-
role. He's about the same size.
2017 is the last time Alshon Jeffrey played 16 games. He played 13 in 2018, 10 in 2019, and he played in
3?
7 this year, but he started 2. That's it.
So yeah, I just like Rondale Moore super fast, and he's that Deshaun Jackson style where he's gonna take the top off you and beat you to the ball.
Fair enough.
Then at 13, I had the Chargers taking Penei Sewell, tackle out of Oregon.
You had him falling all the way to 13.
Yeah, I was looking at that afterwards, but there's so much more needs up front. I wanted to take him with the Bengals at 5. I just think Kyle Pitts being there, I don't think they're able to pass him up. I think that Dallas is an option for him at 10.
Let me ask you something really quick. I've meant to ask you in the top 10. And I asked Austin the same thing. So you have Denver coming up to 4. Why wouldn't Carolina come up to 4 for Justin Fields? It's
It's the
similar to
same thing.
Deshaun Watson.
I actually looked at that one first, but I'm like, Panthers, Vulcans. I don't want to give my whole draft up for one player.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the divisional thing.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to give up more to get a divisional team to trade with you, especially if they know you're going up to get a quarterback.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right.
And then at 14, I have the Raiders trading up with Minnesota for 17 and 121, and taking Rashawn Slater, tackle out of Northwestern.
That's a big need. They need that. All right. What about 15?
So I don't have them going off the board till 13, but then they go back to back. In 15, I have Giants taking Kwity Paye, which is actually the same pick just later on in the draft.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
At 16, I have the Cardinals taking Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Bama.
You said the Cardinals?
Yep.
Okay. Solidify that already monstrous defensive line.
They put someone in the middle. And like Barmore is an interesting prospect because the dude has a ceiling high as hell. He plays too high against the run sometimes, and that's iffy. But he also has disappearing acts where he'll play really, really, really well for a game, and then he'll disappear and not do anything. But he did get better as the year went off. He's also a redshirt sophomore, so not a ton of experience there. So I think he has the most opportunity to get better.
Raw talent.
At 17, where the Vikings are now picking after the trade with the Raiders, they have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Notre Dame safety.
For the Vikings. Okay. It's a need.
And I have the Dolphins at 18, taking Christian Darrisaw, tackle out of Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I like it.
So they go wide receiver and tackle, and then they can fill out defense running back later.
No chance of Etienne or anything.
I thought about that, but I mean, I think they probably move back from 18 if they take him, and they do need a tackle. Isaiah Wilson didn't pan out for him, and I think they need someone on the right side to right or left.
Oh, by the way, Isaiah Wilson got arrested at gunpoint after a high-speed chase with the cops. So.
Yeah.
Good thing all
Well,
you did was swap sevens for him.
that's it. It was free. It was a free gamble to see if they could turn him around, and
They couldn't, and nobody can. He's headed to jail.
Yeah, which is sad because you think you'd take the opportunity to get out of.
Oh, Miami offered him everything they could, and he just kept saying no, that he was good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity to get out of that lifestyle, make real money, get your family out of the inner city shit, and you blow it, kind of like what Ray
Right.
did way back in the 90s.
Right.
Where was it? Christian Darrisaw. Yeah. Okay. So at 19, Washington football team takes Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama.
You haven't fallen all the way to 19, huh?
Yeah, I had him earlier before I redid everything. I had him falling back to the Saints at 28.
Oh, wow. All right. So after 19, so Mac Jones, that's a need. They need somebody for their future.
Yeah, and they're not going to get it next year, regardless how they do this year. Even if they had the number 1 overall pick, they probably don't get a quarterback next year.
All right. So what are we at? 20?
20, the Bears taking Kellen Mond, quarterback out of Texas A&M.
Groom to groom, right? Because you think Dalton's going to start this year?
I think, if they can't get the Russell Wilson trade done by draft day, I think that they go quarterback, and I do think Dalton starts this year, but I don't think he lasts the season.
Fair enough.
Kellen Mond reminds me a lot of Dak. I said that before when we were talking about
quarterback. You did.
And I think he ends up stepping in at some point, but the Bears need a quarterback, and they're going to have to take one this year if they want one.
All right. And what about what are we at? 21?
The Colts at 21. I don't have any more trades, weirdly. The Colts at 21, I have them taking Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech.
Okay, third cornerback off the board. I don't know. They have Kenny Moore and Xavier Rhodes, but where's he going to fit in there?
Most teams run 3 cornerbacks in their base set anymore. Because
you gonna put him in the nickel? You gonna put him in the slot?
Caleb Farley, you can line up anywhere. Dude's just a freakish player. You can move. Okay. You can put him outside, move Xavier Rhodes inside. I think Caleb Farley's tape. He plays all over the field, so I mean he's comfortable everywhere.
Okay.
And who knows if he plays this season or not? I'm kind of waiting on the medicals to come back because later
they say he'll be
in the first.
His agent sent things from the doctor saying he'll be ready by training camp.
Yeah, it's just I want to see teams medicals, not agent medicals. Agents worry about their wallet.
Yeah, fair enough.
At 22, I have the Titans taking Tevin Jenkins, tackle/guard, Texas Tech.
Okay.
At 23, I have the Jets taking wide receiver Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota.
Okay. He had him taken at the end. No chance of that here?
Oh, there's a chance. I just think you took Zach Wilson at 2. You throw Rashad Bateman in there as a legitimate number 1 threat.
Yeah, but aren't they like overloading? They have Corey Davis now. They have Keelan Cole now. They have Jamison Crowder. They have Denzel Mims.
Who's 1? Those are all 2s and slats.
Well, Mims can be a number 1. He just got to develop. He didn't play much last year.
How are they going to keep up with the Bills?
They're not. That's my point.
How are they going to attack Miami's 2 cornerbacks? So, I mean, in this day and age, you can't have enough wide receivers. And I think Rashad Bateman's a true number 1. I don't see, even with Mims, I see him as a 2.
Okay. All right.
At 24, though, I do have Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson.
Going to who?
Steelers.
Oh. All right. Which would you signing if Villanueva resigns? That'll be a good pick. I mean, they have a few needs on defense, so they need to get after the quarterback. They need some outside linebacker help.
Yeah, they also need a running back because I don't like any of their running backs. Even with James Conner there, I wasn't a fan of their running back.
Yeah, Benny Snell and who's the other guy?
I'm not.
It was suboptimal at best.
They got Samuels.
Yeah,
And they have Benny Snell.
They have good change of pace backs off the bench backs. They don't have a workhorse 3-down back like what ETN is.
No, they don't.
At 25, I have the Jaguars taking Trevon Moehrig, safety out of TCU.
Okay. Shore up that defense a little bit.
I meant 25. 26 was the Browns. It's Aziz Ajulare, edge rusher out of Georgia.
Another edge rusher, though? They need a linebacker so bad.
I see him moving to linebacker. He's got short arms, so I think he's a better fit as a 3-4 outside linebacker.
That's their big need. That's their only really need on defense right now.
So that's why I have him going to the Browns, is because I think he moves to linebacker.
Okay. Who do he have? He had like Zaven Collins or something.
Yep. Zaven Collins. Yeah. 27, Gregory Rousseau going to the Ravens.
That's a fills a need.
Rusher out of Miami.
They love to get after the quarterback, so.
Yeah, I just don't. Gregory Rousseau is going to need some development time. He's fast and he's long, but he doesn't have that 1-2 combo move. He doesn't even really have a great first move, and if his first move fails, he doesn't have a second. He did have a lot of production though, for not being able to string together moves. At 28, I had the Saints taking Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri.
Okay. Nick Bolton. Okay.
29, I had the Packers taking Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa.
That's a need. Okay. I think that's their biggest need for the Packers, anyways.
Then at 31, I had
Don't skip us now.
At 30, I had Greg Newsome, cornerback, Northwestern.
Love it. Love it.
Took Jim Kelly.
I was gonna say Kyle Trask, but
we've got our quarterback finally. Just took 25 years.
Thurman Thomas.
I love Thurman Thomas. Not now. I mean, not a running back now, but he's still a good dude. But it's like 50 something.
31, I had the Chiefs taking Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami. And at 32 for the Buccaneers, they had them taking Jason Owe, edge rusher out of Penn State.
Yeah, he crushed his pro day workout. Wasn't he wasn't he in the 4.4s?
Yeah, I actually think I have it wrote down somewhere.
He crushed that pro day workout.
It's not in either one of these notebooks, but he's a 1/10 of a second slower than what.
He was faster than some receivers.
He was a 4.39, I think. 4.39 40.
It's faster than a lot of receivers.
He was faster. He jumped higher than Patrick Surtain at 39.5 inches, which was still under J.C. Horn, but he jumped farther than J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain in the broad jump at 11.2.
He's a freak athlete.
Ran the 3-cone drill in like 6.86 or something, 6.88, and that's sub 7's elite level. And for lateral quickness, like everything.
He's got elite athleticism.
This dude's 6'5", 252. You can line him up at cornerback, and he can do what cornerbacks do.
All right, and he's as fast as some corners.
He's very raw because he didn't start playing football until 2016. But just athleticism in general, you literally could line him up at cornerback, I think, as long as you could teach him what he had to do.
Oh, the Bills signed an edge rusher like that who just started playing football in 2016. He's like 6'6", big dude.
F.A. Abada?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah,
I saw his workout, man. He's way stronger than me. But that dude's massive. But he's from the British thing. He didn't start playing football till he was like 26.
Yeah, Dallas actually had him originally when he came over through that. Dallas had him in training camp.
then he went to Carolina and played there for 2-3 years or something.
Uh,
Now he's in Buffalo.
Yeah, Jason Owe is just a freak athlete. I think he could legitimately line up at cornerback.
I mean, those numbers popped off the charts when I saw him. When I saw his pro day workouts, like, man, it's ridiculous.
That pro day put him in the first round, and
That
the
pro
best
day.
year-
Talk about pro days. Did you see that Zach Wilson throw off his back foot?
hash to hash,
Yeah, that throw was beautiful.
60 yards down the field in stride. And that's like if you what
There's like two other quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw.
you can say it's pro day all you want, but if you watch Zach Wilson tape, that's what he does. He's got so much poise and confidence, he just airs it out. And it's
Like I
almost
said, there's two quarterbacks I can think of that can make that throw: Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, arm strength wise.
like just
Josh
the
Allen.
simple fact-
But the thing about Josh Allen is he doesn't know how to take stuff off. He'd throw that ball 80 yards into the end zone.
like with Wilson though, watching his game tape, there's not any moment that in any game that he looks rattled.
I watched tape on him a little bit, and I see the Josh Allen comparisons. I see it in his game in the tape because he takes a lot of chances. He's very confident in his arm.
He takes chances and he trusts his guys, which is two huge things you need because you can have.
The question is he willing to develop like Josh Allen? Not that everybody's got to be compared, but is he willing to put in the work? Because he's got some of the same concerns. And is he a leader like Josh Allen is? Like Josh Allen's a super leader, and everybody flocks to him. Those are the two things about Zach Wilson.
Josh Allen's biggest concern was his accuracy coming up.
I don't think it was accuracy. I think it was timing, though. Like he said it himself, he was releasing the ball at the wrong time in his throwing motion, and it was throwing off the timing on the routes.
But
that's what he changed.
Zach Wilson doesn't normally miss throws. Like his accuracy is there. I think his concern is more leadership, but I never seen that watching games because his guys rallied around him always.
That was the big thing they're talking about this offseason is his leadership or lack thereof. But I didn't like you said in the tape I watched 2 games the other day of him. I think he was fine. I think everybody rallied around him. They loved him. I mean,
like his biggest concerns is he has an injury history, but
quarterbacks of that stature and that style always have injury concerns.
Like arm strength wise, everything you want in a quarterback. I think he's better than what Trevor Lawrence is. I think he's more pro ready than what Trevor Lawrence is.
I think that I don't want Zach Wilson to go to the Jets, even though he's headed there. I don't want him to go to the Jets because I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
Like I watched the tape and like
no offense to Tua or anything, but I think he's going to be a better year one starter than Tua. It's not that he's going to be better overall. We'll have to see. But I think he's going to be a better year one starter.
I just think that
in year one, yeah, I mean, Tua had a lot of knocks against him going into year one between.
Well, he was rusty too, and he's coming off that injury.
Yeah, rusty injury behind Fitzpatrick. I mean, I'm not saying Tua is going to be great. I'm reserving judgment till the end of this season.
Yeah, the thing about Tua was like he just didn't consistently put game after game together. He had good moments and good games, but I just don't think he consistently played well.
With Tua,
well, the problem was drops too.
My problem last year, I know I wasn't part of the group last year during draft time, but I had talked about it on my other page, and I had said my problems with Tua, my 2 biggest problems with Tua, outside of him being from Bama, because I don't like Bama quarterbacks.
I've said that a bunch of times. So
is my 2 biggest knocks on him were he held onto the ball way too long and got himself hurt, and that's what happened with his hip injury. He should have got rid of it a long time before what he did. And the other one was his Wonderlic score, and that worried the shit out of me because as a quarterback, you want that to be high, and he only scored like a 13 on it.
And think about Tua. I mean, but that's the style of play nowadays. Hold on to the ball, run around, and play hero ball. Like that's what quarterbacks in the NFL are doing today.
That's what Russell Wilson's bitching about because he causes most of his own sacks.
It's Russell Wilson in a nutshell. That's exactly what he is. He runs around 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Patrick Mahomes does it. Josh Allen does it. They all feel like they have to make the play every play.
All right, if I could levitate like Patrick Mahomes and chuck the ball 80 yards down the field on a spot, I would do it too. But outside of that,
I mean,
don't.
and part of that kind of goes down to success because if Mahomes hadn't won the Super Bowl last year, he would have been crucified for the 30-yard sack against the Dolphins. But because he's a defending Super Bowl champion, it's oh, well, he tried to make something happen and it didn't work. And it kind of goes to Cody's
And
point,
that's-
where the
I've
guys
talked about
run
this.
around and they try to make something happen. And,
Right. I've
you
talked
know,
about this a
don't get me
ton
wrong,
of
I think
times.
Mahomes is the best talent-wise. I think he's the best QB in the league right now. And I don't
Right.
think I don't think there's
so,
an
but
argument. Like,
I think the arguments are always skewed in his favor. He
yeah, you can put other guys in the discussion, but I think ultimately Mahomes right now is the best.
well, he's the most talented. But if Mahomes takes a 30-yard sack, right? It's what you said. He's trying to make something happen. Oh, he just ran out of time. Josh Allen took a 10-yard sack once, and they were like reamed on him, like, "Oh, how could you take that sack? He needs to be smarter than that. Get
Hell,
rid of the
even
ball."
at this
And
stage of his
I
career,
get it,
Aaron
but it's like-
Rodgers takes a 10-yard sack, and
but it's like
he was doing something stupid. Like
Yeah, it's
Mahomes
like-
is the only guy that can take a 30-yard
don't like it
sack and not
because-
get crucified.
Josh Allen is similar to Mahomes. He doesn't have some of the athletic things that Mahomes, but they're similar style quarterbacks. And they make similar boneheaded plays and they make similar mistakes, very similar mistakes. Josh Allen is always crucified for his mistakes, and Mahomes always gets a pass, and it just bugs me.
But the thing with Mahomes was, since he had that year to sit, he developed a lot more in that year than what he would have had he played. And
I agree with that.
And so he came out looking better than what Josh Allen came.
But the
out
thing is,
looking.
they tried to do that with Josh Allen, but they couldn't.
Like
we
that,
had Nathan Peterman starting. We couldn't sit him the whole year.
that skews the perception though, when you have a guy that can sit and develop for a year and he comes out looking better, you're gonna think, well, that's different. But
Josh Allen's
Josh Allen looked really, really bad his rookie year. Really bad.
Yeah, but even then, like,
well, I saw
the
games.
differences between
So,
Allen and Mahomes to me, Super Bowl ring.
I'm gonna
Like,
say this: Allen flashed in his rookie year, but overall, he made mistakes a lot more, and he made a lot more of them in his rookie year.
Right. And that's
But he's a rookie, and
But-
he's trying to make play after play, and he couldn't. He threw balls up.
that's your
If
initial
2 years ago, if Buffalo had won the Super Bowl and KC had gone 10 wins, lost to Houston in the first round, and then last year in one of the Miami games, he takes a 30-yard sack, it's not going to be he's making some stupid play. It would have been he was trying to make something happen. Like, winning a Super Bowl immediately gives you leeway when it comes to questionable decision making.
and
But the thing
like,
is,
I have Zach Wilson in there with Patrick Mahomes' athleticism and arm talent wise. I see a lot of him in that.
I also think that arm
But-
talent, arm strength wise and arm talent wise, now that Josh Allen's got his motion down, I think, he's one of the most arm talented quarterbacks in the NFL aside from Mahomes.
Yeah,
That is-
I had Zach Wilson's comp as Josh Allen from this year.
I really think they're super similar. I do.
My biggest issue with it was like if you comp anybody to Patrick Mahomes, you're gonna get crucified for it.
Right.
It's
So I now comp
But-
Josh Allen to Patrick Mahomes. I think they're super similar. People
Oh,
don't
yeah,
see it, but people don't see it because they don't want to see it. If you watch the Bills week in and week out, like obviously I do, and you watch the Chiefs because they're always the other game on. They're so similar. It's just Patrick Mahomes has more speed around him, and he's got a better security blanket. He's got the best tight end in the NFL, but like, I don't know. I just think they're super similar, and I think that eventually, when Patrick Mahomes loses some of those weapons, he's going to look like trash. Because I don't know how many times Travis Kelce bails him out. Tyreek.
I'm not going to say he'll look
bails
like
him out.
trash.
yeah, I'm not
Um,
gonna go
Maybe
that
not
far with
trash,
it.
but
Because
he's not going to
when
look
you
as good as he
like,
does now.
Josh Allen's not going to make no-look passes.
He
And I'm
made
not
a
saying
no-look pass this year. He did it this year. He made a left-handed pass this year, just like Patrick Mahomes did. But the thing is,
Did
because
he
it's
lay
Josh Allen.
Did he lay out an underarm throw 130 yards down the field
not lay out.
While sitting in the air for 5 seconds.
He hit passes while he was falling down. He was being sacked by 2 people and made a left-handed pass to Stephon Diggs. But the thing is, they're not talked about because it's Josh Allen and it's not Patrick Mahomes. But
I mean,
so the famous Patrick Mahomes
Fitzpatrick completed a
plays.
40 or no look.
Well, Fitzpatrick did. Yes, he did. But
Because his helmet was ripped the other way.
All Patrick Mahomes' most famous plays, Josh Allen has done those things in games. Like I said, he switched hands and hit a left-handed pass while getting sacked by 2 players, but that play wasn't talked about at all.
I mean, Brett Favre did that too. So
I mean, it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty at all, but it came out. It was caught. Got the first down. Josh Allen hurt his shoulder and he had to miss like 2 plays, but he was fine.
The biggest thing is like since Trevor Lawrence's freshman year, he's been touted as God.
That's why he's going first, because he's got popularity behind him.
Plus, he's played at Clemson, where Clemson has always got a top-tier program. So he immediately has got a more talented roster.
But yeah, see, I don't think it's him. I think it's the school and the program, because Clemson's been good for a long time. Look at the receivers to come out of Clemson, and look at
and on that
Deshaun Watson. I mean,
on that Clemson note, they're like if you go back, you watch the playoff games. He doesn't look good in the playoff. He doesn't look good against good competition. He doesn't read the field well down the field.
We beat him. Syracuse beat him one year.
And we should have beat him the next year.
Like this year we got crushed, but yes.
But even through 3 quarters, it was a very close game.
Pre-snap reads are what he's strong at. Darrell Bevel likes to air the ball out. That's where Zach Wilson's strength comes into play. So I think if you want to play to your style, you got to take Zach Wilson at 1, because Trevor Lawrence is much more Patriot style, where it's get the ball out quick and.
But the thing is, at
the line.
NFL owners, what matters other than just raw talent is sales, jersey sales, ticket sales. Trevor Lawrence is going to sell you more tickets. He's going to sell more jerseys. Zach Wilson's flashy, and he's going to sell jerseys in New York, and he's going to win them games, but he doesn't have the following that Trevor Lawrence has.
It's because he went to BYU, but the problem with going to the following is that lasts 1 year. Once they're in the NFL and, Zach Wilson's better than Trevor Lawrence, then it's going to start switching the other way. So, I mean, if they look at the long game versus the short game, it would be you get that 1 year of jersey sales, you get that 1 year.
But when you're looking at the owners, you're just looking at dollar signs, like immediate dollar signs. The owner says, hey, man, that man is going to make me millions as soon as we draft him. And he tells the coach and the GM, that's our guy. If you don't get that guy, you're fired. What are you going to do? I mean, you got to got that dude.
I'm taking the other guy and I'm getting a job next year. Fuck Jacksonville. I don't want to be here anyway.
Jacksonville sucks.
All right there, guys. I am tired. I am crashing, so I am going to bail out here, but I will leave the rest of you guys to discuss.
There's only me and Cody left. Where did Austin go?
Yeah, I don't know. Austin disappeared like an hour ago.
I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, I'm tired and starting to head bob, so I need to go to bed.
Makes for good TV. Just got to hit the camera when you fall forward.
Bang. One fell asleep at my house yesterday watching the fights. I wish we could stop recording now because we're just talking gibberish. Austin's going to have to edit this out.
Not necessarily, because we had a pretty good conversation about that.
No, I'm just talking about from when Warren said he's going to bed. Talking about nonsense. But
I've just been waiting to go over the rest of the top 5s.
We might have to do that next week because I think I want to see Austin here for that because he knows names better than me, but he's not here.
Yeah, and I'm fading, so I'd love to.
All right, Warren. Good night, my friend.
Good night, guys. Take care. I'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. But see, Trevor Lawrence to me is the money pick and Zach Wilson's the winning pick. It's just like when the Bears moved up for Trubisky and they could have got Mahomes or Watson.
Well, I don't think Mahomes would have done as well in Chicago because he would have had to start right away.
What about Watson? Watson would have been okay, better than Trubisky.
Trubisky has more wins than Watson, though. So, I mean, you can't really say that either. If you
Watson's just been in a terrible situation.
But he's had really good teams around him. That's what's the weird part. That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, they went to the playoffs 2 years. The 2 years where he played the full seasons, then he had Hopkins and all of those good players and Fuller and.
Yeah, it's worrisome to me that Trubisky on a Bears team that really didn't have a great roster. The defense obviously was a big thing, but Houston had a good defense for those 2 years too. I don't know what happened to them last year, but
their defense was so bad last year. The thing about Trubisky is he had offers to start this year, which this is what I learned recently after they signed him to Bills. He had offers to start this year, and he wanted to play with Josh Allen because he wanted to learn some of the things that he worked on and some of the things that he did differently and some of the developing tools that he had. He said he wants to develop and maybe start next year.
And that's actually probably a really smart move on his part. And because I think that had he gone and started and not done well.
Yeah, it was his last stint in the NFL probably.
Then he's probably done as a starter.
Yeah,
if he
forever.
goes and develops and people are like, well, the talent's there. We'll take a flyer on him this year. Because,
right.
I mean, the other thing going for him is that this year is the good quarterback class. Next year is not a good quarterback class. So he will have opportunity to start next year.
Also, Brian Daboll almost got a head coaching spot this year. If he meshes well with Brian Daboll and he can fit that system, when he gets a head coaching job next year, he might bring him in. Like, hey, you just come with me.
Right, and that would be the perfect situation too. Like, I like Trubisky. I like his potential. I like what I saw from him at the end of this season. Because when he came back after being benched, he played really well for the most part.
Wow, he had a fire under him.
Yeah, and he still made the bonehead play here and there, but everybody does that.
And he's the MVP.
Right? The only MVP ever.
In the history of the NFL.
It might actually be the only one because Nickelodeon, if they get a playoff game this year, probably doesn't do that again after the way this one turned out.
Yeah, because they voted for the quarterback for the losing team.
I don't know that it comes back.
No, fans don't get to choose. Kids chose Mitchell Trubisky
because of a Twitter deal. Someone started that on Twitter and it took off.
MVP. We got the quarterback who finished second in the MVP race in the first ever MVP. That's our quarterback room right now. And Jake Fromm. I like Jake Fromm. I was kind of surprised he went to Buffalo though. I don't think he has the strength to play in Buffalo. He was there in the fifth, and Brandon Beane talked about it a lot. He said, "Listen, man, he was there in the fifth. They had a second or third round grade on him. They were like, we couldn't really justify passing him up there." That was where I was at with it too. Was I was surprised he was still there in the fifth when it happened. I thought he would have gone much farther ahead than that. So they're like, why not? Right, and I get the pick. I just don't think he can play in Buffalo because he doesn't have that great arm strength. Honestly, is he actually going to play? I mean, well, he could. Anything can happen. Yeah, I mean, knock on wood. But if Josh Allen and Mr. Trubisky both get hurt, then he could play. Andy Dalton looked like a great backup till he had to play. Do you think Mr. Trubisky can play in Buffalo? I mean, I didn't see I don't watch too much of Trubisky. Does he have the arm strength to play in Buffalo? He does. He just lacks touch on it. I think he can throw there, not anywhere near what Josh Allen can. But the thing is, they wanted speed, and that's what they got this offseason. They just got fast guys like Brandon Powell. He might not even make the team, but he's fast. And Matt Breida, that's why they got him. Because Powell fast. Probably makes the team.
Powell makes his
It's
return.
either him or McKenzie, I think. And McKenzie's been at Buffalo 3 years. He knows the system really well.
Right, but I think Powell makes it as the kick returner.
They also
If McKenzie gets a bigger role in the offense, then
we're running with this so far. This is my interpretation. Diggs number 1, Sanders on the other outside on the other side, Beasley in the slot, of course, and then Gabe Davis is a number 4, and then McKenzie 5, and we have Isaiah Hodgins. He's going to play 6. Last year we had 7, so I mean we could potentially keep Brandon Powell if we don't draft a receiver.
I thought you guys were going all defense.
I mean, I want to go all defense. We need an edge rusher and we need a corner, and we can use some linebacker depth. But
Looks like if you're going to take the lineman, you're probably going to want to take them within the first 2 or 3 rounds.
well, I want a corner 2 first. I want a corner 2 badly. Greg Newsom's my guy. That's who I want.
I really don't like any of the edge rushers like before the 3rd round.
So
Jason O, I love his fucking athleticism. It's just the production ain't there.
I don't think so. I don't think he's alive. But I really want Newsom. That's my guy for Buffalo.
I like Newsom a lot. He's a physical cornerback who likes to irritate people, kind of like what J.C. Horn is.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. I like Levi Wallace. He was undrafted. For being undrafted, he's played phenomenally these last 3 years. But it's just like we need an upgrade. We have a shutdown corner on one side. If we can get a decently good corner on the other side, we can our pass rushers can have time to hit home.
Greg Newsom's gonna have some growing pains. All cornerbacks do.
Yeah, but our system for corners is a system that alleviates some of that. Trey White had growing pains, but the system we run in the zone scheme we run, it covers that up.
Greg Newsome reminds me a little bit of Trey White.
Trey White can play man, but we don't play man very often at all.
And Greg Newsome can play off ball, but I think as a press cover corner, he'd be a lot better than what he would in that zone.
Well, we play as a primarily zone scheme.
Right, and Newsome can play that. He played cover 3 at Northwestern. I liked him a lot better as a press cover guy when he can get up and get his hands on the guy.
And then in certain packages, they run Taron Johnson. He's our nickel. And some packages they run a big nickel instead of Taron Johnson. They'll put like Sharon Neal, who's a safety corner hybrid, or Dean Marlowe, who's our 3rd safety. They'll put one of them in the box at the nickel spot. That's why they're looking at safeties. They really want a big nickel because the Patriots got the 2 tight ends, so they want a bigger nickel option. And they were looking at safeties to play down in the box to cover the linebacker. I mean, to cover the tight ends. That's why they were looking at that dude from Florida State. And they worked out another safety. That dude that I told you from TCU.
Morg.
Yeah, they worked out Morg, and they worked out
Najadim.
Yeah, that guy with the long name. And they did watch Asante Samuel Jr. and they watched Greg Newsome.
I think Asante Samuel Jr.'s biggest knock on him right now is his height. I didn't even have him in my top 5 list, but I think he's a really good player too.
He's really big, but
the quarterback,
if you want a big nickel or a big corner, he's just not our guy. He's not a big corner.
No, he's a small corner, but I think like Kelvin Joseph's a really good cornerback too. Out of
I really liked Afito Melanfano too from Syracuse. He's a really good. He tackles really well.
He does.
He's so physical.
I'm personally more preference towards the physical cornerbacks. I like seeing physical cornerbacks play more because pitch receivers.
It's a funny story. I watched an interview with Melanfano, and what he said was his brother Obi came in the NFL and he was known as soft. He was a soft corner, and he wasn't. That was the biggest knock on him and why he didn't make it. He was too soft and not physical. So he said he changed his game completely. And he became super physical because he didn't want to make the same mistake his brother made.
Right, and that makes sense. Like I like the physical corners. You play soft, you get beat. That's why I don't like Patrick Surtain as much as other people do. I think he's too soft. I don't think he plays physical enough, and I think he'll get bullied by wide receivers in the red zone, the bigger wide receivers.
But I think we can get Melanfanu in the second, probably.
Probably. You might have to trade up though. Depends on how the run goes in the draft. How it goes, all of a sudden you get a run in cornerbacks.
If Greg Newsome's there at 30, I want him. If he's not there, I want them to take maybe an edge rusher or a linebacker, and then try to trade back up, like you said, and get a corner in the second round. Or if Greg Newsome's gone at 30, they can maybe trade back a few spots and get him in the early second.
Well, he could, but the Bucs might take the cornerback. The Bucs are a really weird team. I don't know who they're going to take.
I don't know.
I just think Jason Oweh, I just like there because he has time to develop and he has good pass rushers to learn from there. Whereas,
but to me,
other places he might be asked to start right away, and I don't think that'll be good for him.
Well, for me, these are my first three wants: corner, Greg Newsome, edge rusher, could be anybody. I don't really care. And then I want either Brevin Jordan or the other dude. The guy from Boston College, is that the tight end?
Hunter Long.
Yeah. Or there's another
Hunter Long
one.
from Boston College.
There's another
Pat
one.
Fryermuth from Penn State.
Yeah,
Pat
but they say we'd have to get him in the second. They say he's going to go in the second probably. I was thinking another guy. He had a weird name, Happy or something.
Trey McKitty.
Yeah, Trey McKitty. Yeah.
Trey McKitty.
Those guys will be available in the third round, I hear. Brevin Jordan, I watched him a little bit. He had really good games, and then he's had really bad games. So he doesn't block very well.
He's better as a blocker than what I thought he was in the games I watched.
Well,
Marvin Wilson absolutely
the thing is, Josh Allen loves Jacob Hollister. They went to Wyoming together, and so when he was a free agent from Seattle, he came here to play with Josh Allen. So the connection is there. But
I just don't.
I'd still like an
know
upgrade.
About that. Yeah, and
last year we carried
likely
4 tight ends. So
third or fourth.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like if we got Newsome, an edge rusher, and then like Brevin Jordan, I think that would be cool. That would be perfect. I would be happy with that.
We were just listening to stuff like if Kyle Pitts somehow falls to 10, I wouldn't be mad at that pick. But JC Horn's my guy. We need a defensive tackle more than cornerback. I think I just don't like any of them in the first round.
Last year they got a good one. 2 years ago they got a good one in the second, right? That dude was because they didn't have a first round pick. What year did Dallas not have a first round pick? Was that last year or the year before? Then they took that
the year before.
They took that defensive tackle.
Yeah, Tristan Hill, and he sucks. I can't say he sucks.
Yeah. They got the guy. They also got the guy
year.
from Oklahoma, right? Neville something.
Neville Gallimore. They got him last year in the third.
Yeah, he was from Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. He didn't get a whole bunch of opportunities until the end of the season.
Tyron Crawford retired though, so that's gonna open up.
Gallimore is more of a 3 technique, and we need more of the nose tackle style. 1 technique, run stuff for big dude in the middle, eat up 2 gaps and double teams.
People don't realize this. People don't realize this, but Starr being out really hurt us last year. And people want to think that we need an edge rusher early. We need edge rush help. You can never have too many pass rushers, but the reason our edgers weren't hitting home is because they were getting double team because nobody in the middle was taking up the double team.
Even on that, like Dallas is. People talk about Dallas's sack production and their edge rushers. Their edge rushers got pressure. Their edge rushers beat their guys. It just we had no push in the middle.
So
and quarterbacks stepped up out of the rush.
To talk about that fact, when I looked up the win percentages for defensive ends, the second highest win percentage in the NFL last year was Jerry Hughes. He just didn't hit home because nobody's there to clean it up. There was no pressure up the middle.
runs like a 7.3 40 at this point. He's not.
Well, he's like 36 years old, 37 years old. He's old. He's been in the league for forever.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I was just.
He wins though. He just needs help. People wanted them to cut Jerry Hughes. I'm like, why the fuck? He's our veteran. He's the leader on that defense, and he wins. I mean, yeah, he doesn't hit home. I mean, but he's not. He's a slow ass dude. He's old, but he wins against his linemen.
Pressures are just as important as sacks, and people don't understand that aspect because pressures aren't flashy. They're not sexy stats. They're not.
I need Epineza to step up this year.
Like the sack numbers are great, but pressures are where it's at because pressures are where you force an interception occasionally, or where you. I mean, it's third down, you get a pressure, the quarterback throws the ball away. Now it's fourth down. It's that kind of shit.
I feel like Epineza is going to get a bigger role this year than he had last year, and they want him to step up.
Well, he needed time to develop too. Because if I had my notebook from last year, I'm pretty sure I had a one-trick pony on there. Because if his initial move didn't work, he didn't have a second.
Well, last year he was big and he was like stronger. He dropped a lot of weight, and now he's faster. So, I mean, he got pressures last year too, but I think Addison.
He did, but I think like if you watch Epineza, if his original move doesn't work, he didn't have a second move to go to.
We have Mario Addison, who's a veteran, who's helping him. They were working together, and we have Jerry Hughes, obviously, who's helping him. And then we have Love. Daryl Johnson. We dropped Love. We have Daryl Johnson, who's drafted in the 7th round 2 years ago, who made the team. And then we have now we have that guy from Carolina.
And like Epineza has heavy hands. I don't think he knew how to use them
effectively. He had a first round grade on him, and he fell all the way to us in the second.
Yeah. He had a first round grade from a lot of people. I had him first to second. And the biggest problem I had though was the lack of a second move. Because if he got beat on his first move, he didn't get off the block very well.
He came on strong at the end of the year though, so I think he'll continue to develop because they sat him for the first 8 games like he wasn't even active, and then they put him in over Trent Murphy, and he started to play better.
Yeah, and that was what he needed. That's like what I think Jason Owe needs this year, and a couple other guys this year. But
because if he can step up, then we don't really need edge rush help. If he can play better. But if he can't, obviously, then we need another guy.
Another thing, people talk about defensive ends like all they do is sacks. Dallas fans call for DeMarcus Lawrence's head all the time. The dude is one of the best defensive ends against the run in the game. He sets a good edge. And
speaking of, we had Shaq Lawson a couple years ago in Buffalo. That was his thing. He was so good against the run. He was terrible. I mean, he never hit home on the pass rush, but he was so good against the run. And then we just let him go because we wouldn't pay him $70 million a year. But that was another thing we lost last year. Him and Starr are the big losses. But
that's the thing that those are the kind of things that get overlooked. I know people like the sacks. That's what people want to see out of their edge guys. But people don't understand how important that edge is, setting the edge is, and help in the run game is. People look at it and be like, "Oh, well, you don't have 20 sacks a year, you're not any good."
We also need physical corners. Like I said, when running backs get to the second level with us, they get all the way to the safeties.
Thought you pulled an Elvis.
Yeah, where the heck were you, Austin? You were gone for an hour.
Can I stop recording now?
Yeah.